Hello.
Hello?
Hello. What's up, bro?
Hey, it's the What's Up Bro podcast. We talk movies, sports, TV shows, pop culture, and it's funny, mother. With Nery Saenz. I'm like, what? How can this... They have Photoshop. Photoshop exists when this artist rendition was done. How the f*** is this not cooler looking than a sketch that looks like it was done by a hillbilly off the side of the road? What the f*** are we talking? Why is this a thing?
Welcome to the party, pal.
Steph, anie Meyer-Senior.
Yeah, I don't have to look for you.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
And Mike Mercadal.
I'm just glad I like vanilla, boring sex like this. I'm glad that the sex I enjoy won't get me killed.
That's how winning is done.
Hey, I'm Dave Chappelle, and this is What's Up, Bro.
Hello, everybody. Am I audible? Welcome to the What's Up Bro podcast. My name is Mike Mercadal. With me, as always, is
Nery Saenz, you, me, y'all.
Nery Saenz. Imagine if you were just like popping bottles and we're like, "Whoa, this is the new you."
This is crazy, guy.
This is wild. Check it out. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. If you're watching live, if you're watching in the future, I'm glad there is one. If you're watching in the past, how'd you do it? The time machines are not real. How did you accomplish this?
Well, not real that we know of.
that we know of.
There's a theory that I thought of as a child in 5th grade,
so it's
and
gonna be good.
I thought, wouldn't this? It's still a thing that it's in my head. It's gonna be good. What if the UFOs that? What if the hello?
Yeah, I got you. Are you losing signal? You're doing it
broke up.
loud and clear, brother. But you're a little delayed.
Okay, good. All right. So what if the UFOs that we know of, that we see here in the present, what if that is the future us and they're time traveling? And that's the way they have to look. The suits and stuff and the big heads is their time traveling suits. That's their astronaut
how they
suit.
get through the interstellar black hole. That's how they solve gravity. If you've seen Interstellar,
Right.
Spoiler alert for that movie.
Well, if you've seen Interstellar and understood Interstellar, which is a much smaller demographic.
Very different set of standards. Thank you, everybody, checking us out. This is the What's Up Bro podcast, WuBro Pod on all social media platforms. We're live on Facebook and YouTube, and we're on Twitch right now, which is not that's fun for us. There's a Twitch, WuBro Pod Twitch channel. Thank you. If you want to consider liking, sharing, and subscribing this, sure, why not? This podcast, we're asking the ultimate question, the question that's on everybody's mind. What's up, bro? There's a lot going on right now.
What's up with time travel?
What's up with time travel? No, but I feel like there's a lot of people. I don't know if lately it's been more on my social media, like because TikTok is getting banned. I don't know if we can say those words. Have you been anti-TikTok this whole time?
The whole time.
I love it. It's so much better than all the other platforms.
It really isn't. It's just a different algorithm because you have taught it different things about yourself.
It's a better algorithm. It is.
For you, that might be true, and I'm not defending that or debating that. I'm saying it has not been the case for me. And because of multiple reasons, I've never liked TikTok, and it takes up more bandwidth. So while I'm on a cruise ship or away on international waters, or even when I was in Europe, it just takes longer to upload videos. And then when I finally do get the video uploaded 20, 30 minutes later, not even exaggerating on the amount of time, the amount of views and likes that I get compared to that of my Instagram is significantly lower. So then it makes me like, why am I doing this? Like a video of my stand-up, for example, just to be completely selfish and self-involved. A video of my stand-up that will get 25, 30,000 views on Instagram will get 400 on TikTok.
Have you ever bought followers on Instagram?
No. I bought followers on Instagram one time when I was like very near to 10,000 followers. I was like at 8 or 9,000 followers, and I wanted to get to 10,000 only to be able to do the swipe up feature. So for those of you who can remember this, there was a time that Instagram, in order to do a swipe up to go to this website, I just wanted that feature. But in order to get that feature, you have to have 10,000 followers, and I was like at 9,000 followers. So I bought like 700 or something followers, and then I swear to God, a week later, they took away the swipe up feature and they added the link.
Links.
Button.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, what the hell did I do that for? And then
spend all that money.
But I mean, I don't even remember how much it was, but it was literally like 700 followers. And then right after that, my Nicaragua clip went viral.
Oh yeah.
And so then I gained like 7,000 followers after that clip, and I was like, well, that was a waste of money.
So here's the thing. This is ultimately New Year, same WuBro. We've been fighting for our lives to get listeners forever. Like anybody in the podcast sphere, you want eyeballs, you want ears. Before it was eyeballs, it was just ears. You want people listening, you want people connecting. TikTok for me was one of those things where it was newer, so the algorithm didn't carry over old Facebook thinking or Meta, Instagram, like it's all one big company, right? So Meta, Facebook their whole thing is the algorithm to sell you shit. I think at the beginning, TikTok was just like feeding you the things you already watched.
You could not make it.
Eventually,
You could not make it 15 minutes without cursing. I just want to make sure you are aware of that.
what did I say?
You said
Shit.
You said poop. You said poop. Right. 15 minutes.
I
You
don't.
couldn't make it.
Again, what are we doing? We're fighting a fucking computer all the time. Fuck you. Fuck this. Fuck everything. I'm sick of
Yes,
fucking,
yes, yes. I love the idea. I love the idea of two mics. One mic just finished saying, "Hey man, we all want attention. We all want more eyeballs. We all more, and we got to do what we got to do." And then the other half was like, bleep, 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 bleep. And I'm just like, oh boy.
But no, the computer, it's the algorithm. Like some robot is listening to me and determining that we can't put F-bombs in the first 15 minutes or whatever. Who gives a shit? What is the point?
The computer does. The computer does.
Why am I answering to our robot overlords? I'm sick of it.
Oh my god! So you'd rather be answering to the Chinese computer overlord?
The Chinese algorithm. Well, no, you're still. I'd rather not be answering to anything. I want.
But you were saying how TikTok gets you.
I want no. As content as the receiver, as the creator, I want what Facebook and Twitter used to be: a chronological timeline of posts. That's it. It was just literally an RSS feed of this person posted this, and then if I choose to follow them, there's a whole separate discovery area. The place where like once I like you, I can go back and follow, and that's kind of how TikTok had a whole separate layout of when you were following someone. I don't know how monetization works over there. I never got on the creator fund. Because I didn't post enough. I wasn't a creator over there. But as a consumer, TikTok was always better for me in terms of what it showed me, because it learned that I like watching musicians doing their thing. I I used to laugh when people would complain about, oh, TikTok's just a bunch of teen girls dancing. And I'm like, that's because all you're watching is teen girls dancing. Like, you're telling on yourself a little bit. If all you see if all your Instagram is just big booty models, the back in the day when people always say, "Oh,
right," you don't have to get personal with me. You don't have to tell people my business. You just relax.
It could literally be anyone who's come on this podcast and said those things. The idea that the feed is what you create it to be. I think on TikTok it was all about like giving you the things you like because they're good. I think on Instagram, they know that they give you things that are controversial or something that you may agree or disagree. Like, it's not about all liking it. You get more engagement with hate. Every comment section on Instagram was so different.
That's not my reality with Instagram. Just to point that out.
As a creator or as
a user. Like I have a bit about this in my act where I talk about when I took time off of watching porn. And then years later, it just happened by happenstance. I didn't take a conscious decision. It wasn't like a stance where I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna watch anymore. It just happened, and then I went back to watching it, and there was a videos we've made for you, like selections for you or for you page, whatever version it was like, hey, these are videos that we think you'd like. And I talk about this on stage where I say I'm a sucker for the algorithm, whatever, like whether it's Instagram or whether it's Amazon. And they're like, hey, we think you would like this. I'm like, why I would like a wallet / flashlight / knife. That would be cool. Like, I'm really like, all right. So when I went to this website, there's porn site, and it said for you, like I went after years of not watching it, it became this stepbrother, or stepsister, or stepmother, like, and then the whole joke is, which is based on reality, where I was like, what did I Google to make this machine think that I would be into this incest thing? And now it's completely normal because I've watched thousands of hours of it. But the first time, that was weird. Which is the joke in the punchline. Which is the joke in the punchline. But that's the reality of it. Like, I am a sucker for the algorithm. The algorithm knows me very well. Like, I've been a dog lover my entire life. To the point that my daughter, one time when she was a lot younger, I think she was 6 years old, she was like, Papi, if you weren't allergic to cats, we would get a cat. And I said, we wouldn't get a cat because I don't like cats. And this is me talking to a 6-year-old. She's like, well, you don't like them because you're allergic to them. And I told her, go, Mommy, I love you. And I understand what you're thinking. Yes, I'm allergic to them. But even if I wasn't allergic to them, I don't like them. So I'm not a cat. I say all of this to preface with now, because my wife and I send each other all these pet videos, I get constant cat videos, and I'm like, this is adorable. And I just like these cat videos, and that's my algorithm on Instagram. So I don't get this hate thing. You're kind of telling on yourself.
You're misunderstanding. So no. You're not. You're misunderstanding what I'm saying. I am. The content that it feeds me is stuff that I am watching. The thing is that the commentary, the comments section, or a lot of the stuff I get here. I'm being bold enough. I'm not going to share it on screen because I don't want to. But what's this explore page, right? The explore on my Instagram. Video game jokes, comic book stuff. It's not about hate, but then you go into the comments section about anything.
You and I have actually had this conversation on Instagram DMs where I have sent you something, a clip of like movie news, and you go, "Oh man, and you remember? Am I taking a memory for you?"
Yes.
And you have said to me all these haters, and I go, "What haters?" And you go, "Oh, in the comment section." And I took a screenshot for you of the comment section that I was getting, and I wasn't getting any of that hate. I don't want to say any, but I was getting like 14 love messages compared to like one person. So you think it's
showing you different comments? Here's the thing, man. It's showing you something different than me.
It is. Like, I think the algorithm.
In the
comments, I think that is also geared towards you're telling on yourself. Because you have interacted with these hate comments, you get a lot of that. I don't get that.
No. I got to say this. You're assuming I'm interacting with the
comments. Well, I'm assuming because I'm assuming because you keep getting them, and I don't get them.
I don't know what the difference is. My point being, the whole point of this thing is that we're constantly just sitting here like trying to guess what this kind of. It's almost like religion without the Bible. It's like we don't know. Like somebody send us the book that tells us what it is, but everybody's always trying to game the system, right? So everyone posts like, man, the second you post a video, I don't know how. Like when we post clips of this show, and I get followed, messages, all kinds of stuff from horny bot accounts.
Yeah.
And now in my mind, I would rather like that doesn't mean engagement to me. On TikTok, when I've posted anything or even comments or stuff like that, like I comment way more. I interact way more on TikTok because of the fact that the comments get interacted with by real people. Like if it doesn't feel like they're bots, or the bots get yanked immediately or whatever it is. So like I think that Instagram knows that it gets its like usership from people trying to figure out what, like, you know, all that stuff, and I think it attracts a lot of like a lot of animosity, a lot of like bickering.
You know what? A lot of this might be from this. I personally don't even go into comments about. Not forget about my post, about any post. I don't even go into comments. If I like a cat video, I'm not going into the comments for the cat videos. Now, there are specific videos where I go into the comments because I'm looking for a specific, like if you see somebody that is like,
you know what's coming. I
send you the video. I send you the video of this guy with huge areolas with his shirt off, and he's singing a song. And I went straight for the comments because I was like, this is gonna be. First of all, the first comment off the back, Areola Grande.
Areola Grande is S tier level comment. S tier level.
So immediately I was like, this is what I'm here for. Aside from those obvious posts, like these comments are going to be good posts, I don't look at comments. I just like what I like and it keeps scrolling.
So let me ask you this then. Do you think that guy 100% knows that he's got big ass areolas? He 100% knows.
Come on, dude. He's in his 30s. You think nobody's told him in 30 years? Nobody's told him he got big areolas?
Let me get there.
Okay.
So here's the reality. That guy clearly posted that to get engagement on Instagram, right? Like he clearly posted
or anywhere. He could have posted the original video on TikTok for all we know, and then it got somebody else posted it on Instagram. But social media.
Right. So that's another thing. It's just rampant, like people stealing. I have a whole thing about like the idea that you could just duet a video where it's like, let's say you're the video going and talking about stuff, and then you're saying something I agree with, and I'm just sitting here going like, you know what I mean? Like Like
what I want to do
fucking
is
stand it,
what I want to do is get that video and do it to that video,
bro. Let's
and
find
then
as
do
many
it,
of those as we can.
and
Let's find
then we do it. So we get the video of that,
Yeah.
and then we do another video where, like, if I'm doing that pointing to the guy who's pointing to the original video, then you do another one. No, where you put that video behind you and you give commentary and you go, see what's happening here is, and you do that. And you go, what's happening?
Bro, there's so much of that bullshit on it. I can't stand it. That's it. We're shutting the show down. I'm never doing this again. Everyone can go to hell. Fuck you. Fuck the computers. I'm
not a fan of TikTok. I've never been a fan of TikTok. It takes longer for me to load up because of my spotty Wi-Fi in different locations of the world. And then the reach that I get is nowhere near the reach that I get on other platforms. I've never been a fan of TikTok. I don't care. I hate the fact that it took this long to shut down because I was happy. I was super happy. The same way I'm happy right now about TikTok going down. I was happy when Vine went down. I'm like, oh, thank God. I don't have to even.
You don't want to have to learn another thing.
No, it's not about learning nothing. Yes and no. It's not about learning a new platform. It's like learning how to be funny in 7 seconds. It's like I was struggling so much. Like, if you've ever seen any part of my act, I'm not funny in 7 seconds. I need maybe 7 minutes, and then I'll get going. Like 7 seconds for me was very. So when they shut Vine down, I was like, oh, thank the heavens. And so when TikTok became a thing, and I realized I wasn't good at TikTok, and said TikTok algorithm didn't like me. I was like, please, God, just shut this down. And then God listened to me. And he was like, cool, we're shutting this shit down.
God listened. That's the moral of the story. God listened.
Not to LA. He doesn't listen to LA. But everybody else, he listens to.
We'll get there. Hold on a second. Because I want to show this is the guy, right?
That's so good, man.
So this guy, first of all, I don't even know if that's real. I don't believe that this
What do you mean? You never seen Pepperoni Barb? You never seen Pepperoni Barb?
I've seen large areolas in my time on the internet, but this guy, come on.
That's real. Why can't that be real? Why must you take away the fun from us? I don't understand.
That's man.
You are like, by the way, there's so many things that I try to send you, and then the moment I send it to you, I go, fuck, he's gonna reply back with, I hate this fake ass AI. I'm like, just enjoy it for what it is.
Bullshit.
But it is bullshit, but it's fun, but it's art. Like, it's so cool, like these cool, whatever it is, and I'm just like, oh, this looks cool. I never send you these things thinking this is authentic. I was just like, this is still cool. Like, our favorite thing to do is go watch superhero movies.
But it's presented as phony. It's presented that way. Here, hold on.
Is it?
This is what I'm talking about. This is the thing. You sent it to me earlier today for the audio listener. There's a Instagram post. A woman tricked into believing she was dating cancer-stricken Brad Pitt with AI images and was scammed out of $850,000. A 53-year-old French woman named Anne, in quotes, because who would admit to this publicly, was scammed out of $850,000. Is
that euros or is that USD?
I guess because it has the little squiggly line about. They didn't want to do the exact convert. Yeah, but it's over time that Brad Pitt needed money for cancer treatment, right? The scammer pretending to be Brad Pitt, blah, 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 used fake AI, right? Basically used AI. This is the problem when you post too much fake AI or scripted shit. People go out into the world thinking that that's real.
But that's not AI's fault that people are stupid.
It's not AI's fault. It's a tool used by people to make people stupid.
To make stupid people do stupid things. Why?
I don't know, man. You send me shit all the time, and I'm like, I don't want. You're not a stupid man.
First of all, if you think you're dating Brad Pitt and you never met him, strike one. Strike two.
These people have never been on the internet before.
Strike two. You think Brad Pitt has cancer and nobody knows about it but you? Strike two. Strike three. Brad Pitt, who makes $20 million a movie, is asking you for money.
Yeah,
he makes $20 million a movie.
These are the AI. This is like not even AI. This is
but
like Photoshop.
He makes $20 million. He makes $20 million a movie, and he's asking you for money. Why?
Worst. These are the worst.
So that's why. I'm sorry, AI did not make this lady stupid. She was already stupid, and AI just like happened to hit the jackpot when it comes to stupid rich people. Because that's rich people. If you have $850,000 to spare, I'm sorry, Mike, you're my actual friend that I've known for years in real life. If you get stricken with a disease and you need $850,000, I could only set up a GoFundMe. It's the only thing I can do. I have that kind of money. So forget about being stupid. Forget about being stupid or believing you. I don't have that capital to even invest in that kind of long
both of us would be like, yeah, I'm not asking you for that. It's like both.
Yeah.
Hey, if it's
I mean, you could ask.
Disease.
You could ask, and I would absolutely, like, with my heart, with my entire heart, be like, brother, if I had it, it would be in your bank account in 10 seconds. Yeah. But I don't have that kind of money. So again, this is a rich, stupid woman who thought she was dating a mega celebrity.
Yeah.
Mega
Insane.
rich celebrity. A mega rich celebrity. That's so it's beyond. That's why I started to WuBro, because I'm like, this is so stupid. People like this deserve. I mean, I'm not saying they should deserve to be taken advantage of. I'm saying it only happens to stupid people.
I don't want to contribute anything that is in stupidifying any part of our population. I hate it. I can't believe.
I don't think this is stupefying our population. I just think this is picking on the people who are already stupid in our population, and I don't think those two things are the same. I don't think this is making people stupider. I think this is, and again, I'm with you. It's getting more and more difficult to tell what's real and what's not real on the internet. Right, I get it. Right. I understand that. All right, but luckily we have Mark Zuckerberg, who's taking the challenge head on.
Yeah,
and he is.
The
fucking pussy, you bend the knee, bitch.
Especially like when people have money. Okay, if I sound angrier than usual, it's because I've been cooped in the house for
impossible
a week for a week because of I'm in LA and the fires in California are like no joke.
It looks like scenes from movies, bro. It looks how bad it looks from like
it's
wow.
wild. Okay, two things, right? I am safe for now. Where we are is like a little, like there's two fires here. One of them is spreading one way. One of them is spreading is up in the mountains the other way. But the wind is just blowing the smoke into LA, right? So like the air quality has been super shitty. You can't really go anywhere without a mask. Like it's like
LA in the 80s.
You can't even have the windows open. It's like smog LA times 10. It's brutal. The thing is that we've been, my wife and I we're like here just like we're trying to figure out what to do, right? Like we're just not in terms of fire. The first couple of days we were like, okay, what would we do in an emergency? What would we grab? Oh, this is a good question. What would you put in your house or whatever? What's like first out the door in case of a fire? Like what would be? We had to come up with that because we didn't know if fires were going to shift. We could see the fire from our window. I don't know.
We could call this section "What's up, fire?"
What's up with fire?
What's up with fire? Am I right?
Am I right?
Have you seen this? Have you heard about this?
You heard about this? Let me see. How do I share this full screen?
I think what aside from my children, you mean like materialistic things?
Of course, yeah. First 6 P's. The 6 P's is the first one is people and pets. So like yes, of
people
course.
And pets.
Yeah.
So people and pets, and then what the next word is? Property. I'm assuming the next P.
You said
six
papers,
P's.
important papers. Yeah, prescriptions is another one. Important papers, and then it gets like where you're like, yeah, of course, they just needed to make everything fit into a P.
I think it's people and pets, and then the next P will be PlayStation. My PlayStation 5.
The next P, PS5. Yes, correct.
PS5. Then I don't know, man. I really don't have prescriptions. The important paperwork, I guess we all have. Like I guess our computer. So I guess a hard drive would be a hard drive or something, right?
So this is the view from the window in my apartment. So
for the video listener, for the audio listener, just know that we're looking. What seems like it's nighttime, and
this was the first
like
night.
1:00 in the afternoon, right? Or is that a picture?
No, this is So that's from my house. That's
Is that
from my
live?
window. No, this was the first day, the first night.
Okay.
This was
All right.
live happening. This is a window in my apartment out to the Palisades fire. So
Okay.
this I could see from my house, right? And can you see my mouse on there?
No. Oh,
no?
yes,
Okay.
yes. I was just a little
So-
tiny because
Yeah. So that's the fire line that was, now it's out. Like that part's all out and it's expanding another way. It was like at a certain point, the problem is that the winds have been crazy. Like we were concerned about the wind in our apartment before the fire started because it was literally like rattling our windows. You know how like when you leave it's nice out here, so you have the windows open. You sleep with the windows open. There, it was literally
I don't know what that's like. I don't know what that's like.
Yeah. That's LA. That's that California, baby.
Yeah, that's not Miami at all, man. You sleep with the windows open after a hurricane when you don't have any power. That's the only time you sleep with the windows open, man.
No. It's actually really nice. But like I think, and you can't get audio with this, so you're not getting audio. But
It's fire. We get it. It's a fire. We get it. Yeah.
No, but you can hear the wind. So what happens is the wind was blowing really hard, and we're like, oh man. Then if a fire starts, the wind just basically turns it into like a furnace, like a bellows, like when you see people in those like blacksmith shows that they're just pumping air into a thing to get it hot as fuck. That's basically what happened. So all of this, the wind, you can see the smoke is just kind of like almost flat, like it's not going up, is because the wind was blowing. And this is the shit that you can see from my house. Like, so we were close, but it was blowing in the other direction. Like it was like not towards us. So at a certain point, we were like, it's just been like we're under tension. We're like a coiled spring. We're just like, okay, what do we do? And then I had to go to work, and then like we were just at work. Like, you know, it's just been like a stressful time. Less so than the people who actually got their shit burned down.
Of course,
but it's that thing of like when like the hurricane, when you're in the cone of the hurricane, and then you're just like, well, you know, we'll see what happens, you know. And since then, we've just been like dealing with that shit all, you know, this whole time. So it's like kind of been a weird week, you know. Can't even go outside. You have to wear a mask. It's like sucks out there. But anyway, I forgot.
It's like 2020. It's like 2020.
There was a crazy fire in 2020. There's been a ton of fires. Look.
Well, no, I'm saying that you can't go out without a mask. It's like 2020.
Yeah. A lot of people are like, you know, saying like we're trained for this, you know, like we get it, you know. But ultimately, it is frustrating because of how I'll tell you what's cool as fuck. If you want a positive thing, have you been watching? I'm getting tons of videos of those planes and the like helicopters dropping water on the fires. Those pilots are having the time of their fucking lives. They must be fucking loving it because that's like they fight. I swear, no. They are doing the thing. When I was as a paramedic, when everything was going down and I could flex my knowledge and skills at the highest level, yeah, it's a bad day for those people, but I'm doing great. I'm excelling.
So you know, I swear to God. So I was just on Billy Corbin's podcast because Miami, and I asked that exact same question about when bad things are happening. Him as a documentary filmmaker, I asked him, I'm like, is there a part of you, even if it's a small part of you, like the artistic part of you, because he's a top shelf, top tier documentary filmmaker, right? Billy Corbin is not. Yeah. He's not like he's like a legit filmmaker. And I asked him, I said, when you see stuff like this happening, when you see awful stories of corrupt governments in Miami and so on or whatever, is there a part of you that does like the rubbing of your hands where you're like, yeah, new another enemy? Bitch.
He would be lying. He would be lying if. What did he say?
Well, he said you could go watch the podcast, but he said it's not that he wasn't happy about it, but there is a part of. He talked about a newsman friend of his that said in the news, when it comes to elections, we win. The news wins because we either get better government or we get to film the shit show. So, as a comedian, I felt exactly the same way. right? Like on stage, I don't talk about politics at all on stage. Never even brush the subject. I just don't care to. It's not my thing. But there are comedians that I know benefit from this guy being in office. Like it, and then they've been playing with it. Like there are comedians that are like, wasn't it so much fun? I miss Trump because I miss having, turning on the news and having stupid shit, and it was just more fun because of the crazy, absurd things that he would say and do, and that would just lend itself to comedy on stage, right? But it's also at the same time at the detriment of somebody else.
Yeah, it's clearly like it's good for, it's the most selfish, like, yeah, it's good for me. Like people would ask me all the time in the ER when they're like, oh, how was your day? And I'd be like, it's boring. Nobody died. Nobody got into a car.
Right.
It was a boring day because nothing terrible happened to anybody else.
Yeah.
Right. It's the same thing. It's like, as a comedian, it's like, I got nothing to talk about because utopia happened. And, you know what I mean? Like nobody is arguing with anybody else. That
would be a good sketch. A comedian in utopia is like, what's the deal with paradise?
What's up? What's
up with this great cleaning water and amazing medical
what's
care?
up with having all your needs met, right? Like, isn't it wild?
What's the deal with that?
You guys heard about this? I've never gone hungry a day in my life. What? You guys seen this? You guys heard about this?
You guys see this? World hunger solved. What?
Yeah. Look, this. Okay.
Be well.
Yeah. Be well. Okay. This is the guy who exemplifies that exact. Oh, can you not hear that?
Attack.
Okay.
After a terrorist, I mean, it sounds kind of macabre, but I like to go to visit a country after a terrorist attack.
Okay.
After a terrorist attack, the horse has already left the barn. It's cheap. I was in Istanbul after they had that bombing at the airport. So I went there.
Jesus Christ.
And there was a bus, supposed to be 50 people. How many people do you think were on the bus?
2.
1.
You.
So I got the whole tour.
And they're like, why are you
The
here?
whole bus. And I stayed at a $300 a night hotel for $30.
Oh my gosh.
That guy's got a point. You know what I'm saying?
He's got to figure it out. He's got to figure it out, man.
I struggle with some of the like you do feel guilty, like the fires are going on, and it's not like everything was so well off before, like when everybody's struggling, there was strikes here with the actors, everybody's struggling. Nikki Glaser had that great joke about in the Golden Globes about the hardest working actors in LA, and it's like a round of applause for them serving you your drinks, and they'll be around to bring you your food. Those are the hardest working actors in show business. I was like, yeah, that's fucking, what a good joke, what a good bit. And
also, if you don't mind, I'm gonna go cry in the fucking in the broom closet, right? Like the servers are like, ha, that's a great joke, but no, seriously, I'm
wonderful.
Fucking yeah,
all
wonderful.
right, yeah, fuck you. So like during the strikes, there were like people handing out free food if you were a SAG member that you needed to go to a food bank or you needed to do something, because a lot of people have misconceptions. So a lot of people also, like online, some of the fucking anger comments that you see are people like, those rich people, blah blah blah. Yeah, they're not. I'm sorry, these celebrities lost their homes, but they have the money to rebuild. That may be true, honestly, for the Palisades, that fire, that's like a richer part of town, but it's also people who have lived in those houses for like 30, 40 years that bought them for like nothing. Maybe they were middle class when they bought that house, and that their kids live there now, and then that's all they've known, and now they've lost it. Oh, but the big fire in Pasadena, Altadena area, Eaton Canyon, that's a neighborhood. That's like when LA, which is historically incredibly racist in the way that it divided up the city with the highways, literally paving roads through Mexican neighborhoods and on black neighborhoods, stuff like that. That's where they went. They all went out there to buy, middle class homes in the 70s and 80s when they could. And then all of those houses are burned down. So it's like, every time I see someone post shit about it's also like the same people that post shit about New York being like a crime-ridden, infested swamp of bullshit. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? You don't know.
Well, that's why I didn't want to get into. That's why I didn't even want to get into this conversation about the fires, because I didn't want to get into politics because the fires are the reason that the fires are happening are because of DEI. So that makes sense. So I didn't want to talk about it. Oh my God. Like, it's just bonkers to me how they politicize everything. It's
I was what is happening? These trans fires.
Yeah, these pro-trans fires. That's what happens when all these liberals, that's what happens.
Yeah, that's what happens when these single-family homes identify as mansions and get valued for what they get valued for.
That's what happens.
Trans property is bullshit. It's people blame anything. That's the time when I stopped. I'm like, no more comment sections. What we were talking about earlier, where I'm just like, I'm just going to disappear.
The only reason I even know about that is because on my feed, the Daily Show shows up, and they teach me, like, that's my filter of politics. Is I get it through the Daily Show, because which is the prism that I personally need to get it through, is because I need to get it through a comedic prism. Because if I don't, I would be that guy that goes through the wormhole. I had this conversation with a friend of mine, Mike Pace, who's a great comedian. I worked with him, and I love Mike. But Mike Pace is very much he's an older guy, and everything, like, it affects him sincerely, deeply. Like he loses. I'm not exaggerating. Loses sleep over things that are happening either across the world or across the country that have nothing to do with it. He loses sleep over that because he's thinking about that, and that's never happened to me. And he brought it up to me the other day where he's like, I was losing sleep over, and I forgot the example, and I wish I could give the example now but I was like, I don't. Oh, he said that it was like right before January 6th, him and I were talking. So there was the fear of, like, there being the end of world, the end of the country type of, like, because of ratifying the election. And there was a whole thing there was a fear going around the internet that it was going to get really bad, that people were going to get really upset one way or the other, and then like as an overcorrection.
Civil war. Hear that?
So that's what he was insinuating. That's what he was referring. And he was like, do you and your family have a plan? And I go, plan for what? Like, I was completely at a loss of what he was talking about.
Yeah.
And he goes, a plan for, because they're saying that it's going to get really bad. And I go, no. And I just shrugged him off. And I go, no, I haven't even heard about that. I don't lose it. And he goes, he told me that he lost sleep the night before with that. And I was like, and this was January 2nd that he was telling me this. And I was like, I've never even heard of this. And I told him,
for this election?
This year. I'm talking about this right now. I'm talking about 2 weeks ago.
Is he Republican and he thought the Democrats were going to storm the Capitol?
No, it was the other way around. He thought that there was going to be an overcorrection. He's like a very liberal, super liberal, like on the other side of liberal. Okay. He thought that there was going to be a overcorrection, and that there were going to be like people saying that the election that this is a vote, and then the Republicans were going to come in or like shoot up, whatever. He thought it was going to be a whole thing. Yeah. So that's what he was fearing, and I made the statement of, like, I don't even know about that. I've never even heard about that. I don't lose sleep over things that I have no control over, is what I said to him. And I wasn't trying to prophesize. I wasn't trying to, like, get on a soapbox. I was just explaining to him why. He looked at me with this puzzlement of, like, why are you not losing sleep with this? You have a family. You don't have a plan of action. And I was like, I'm on a cruise ship. There's nothing I can do. I don't lose sleep over something that I don't have any control over. And he looked at me with the most sincere look in his eyes. And he goes, man, what I would give to be able to have that peace of mind that you have. Like, he just couldn't understand it. He could not understand, could not wrap his mind around being that. And then he has that anxiety. He has that, and he's had this for years upon years upon years, decades. He's an older guy, and I'm just like, but I've met many people like that.
So he's just has undiagnosed anxiety his whole life. That's basically.
I don't think it's undiagnosed. I don't think it's undiagnosed.
Clearly, so
I don't think it's undiagnosed.
Yeah, so a lot of that is a lot of people. Whatever. It's always funny when you hear someone complaining about, isn't it crazy how we all, and then they'll name like the most specifically pathological thing, and then you're like, I don't know if that's all of us. I told him, like, well, I've never lost sleep
or
whatever. Like, I think you're OCD, maybe, like that kind
of thing. Told me that he said, isn't it funny how, because we had 3 shows in one night, in the third show we both agreed the audience was not a good show. It should have even been done. It was January 1st. The show starts at 11:30.
Sure.
The show starts at 11:30. It's January 1st. They've been up since the day before.
Party and
the show should not have gone on. There should not be an 11:30 show on January 1st. Period. Anywhere in the country.
Yeah.
But there was, and the audience wasn't great. They were tired and drunk and wasted and blah blah blah. And so we talked the next morning about how we didn't like the show, how we didn't like the last show was obviously not the best show. And then a day later, he was like, I watched the video of that last set. I go, yeah, because we each record our sets. And he goes, it wasn't a bad show. I go, oh, I never thought it was bad. He goes, yeah, because, I was losing sleep over it. I'm like, losing sleep. And I go, Mike, are you using, and I said, Mike, are you using this term like just as a term? Like, are you just using it? Or are you actually, he goes, no, I was up all night thinking about how, and I go, Mike, I never thought the show was bad. Just, of the 3 shows, that is clearly the weakest audience. That was clearly of the 3 shows. He goes,
it was less good.
Yeah, I would have never in a million years, if you would have asked me what show was bad, I would say, well, this was the weakest one. I wouldn't say it was a bad show. But that's something that only I, as a performer, I don't lose sleep over a performance. I'm like, I'm not, what? I've never in my career lost sleep over a performance.
That happens to me. So I had that conversation of like with someone. This is years and years ago when they were like, "Oh, you may have ADHD." I was like, "Oh, you know how when you're trying to go to sleep and you have like 6 million thoughts running through your head all the time, and then people are like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, clearly not. I am seeing every aspect of my life.
When you try to go to sleep, when you try to go to sleep, don't you hate it when you try to go to sleep and then the dragons are fighting and you're like, what?
You know how like if you don't turn off the light switch 16 times, your family will die, and then you can finally go to sleep, but then the voices of your dead family are talking to you. Mike, I think you have to. I don't relate to this thought that you're having.
Wouldn't it be funny if there was 3 people in that conversation and then that other guy goes, "Yeah, I know, right?" It's just like,
wait a minute.
And that leads you to believe no, the odd man out must be the crazy guy.
This guy with his
this guy just going to sleep right away. Bullshit. Get out of here.
What a weirdo. What a dummy. Oh my God. I struggle with that sometimes when someone's like telling me, especially online, when you see a video or something like you said, I don't lose sleep over what I can't control. I try not to do that, but it's also like, especially this specific situation with the fires, right? I'm not in any immediate danger, but I do have to alter my behavior to accommodate things, right? But I also could be in danger if something changes. Like if the wind moves, right. It's like it's like I was literally the dog that's in the room that's on fire saying this is fine. I'm like, this is fine. We're good. I'm not in danger. We don't have to do anything like that. I'm so fire. I had fire like all around me, and I'm just there like, we're cool. We're good. This is fine. And that's the irony of the whole situation. It's like the worst fire the city's ever seen. And it's like business as usual for some people that still have to go. Like, how do you like, I gotta go, who's going to the barista to get coffee? And they're like, oh, here's your coffee. Thank you so much. It's like, oh, you're working today. It's like, well, my house burned down. I have nowhere else to be. Blah, blah, blah. It's like, Jesus, it's like that could be happening realistically somewhere in the city.
Yes. It's very much, I get it. Like, my wife suffered from anxiety as well. And I know some people suffer with it. There are severities or levels to it. There are more people.
Yeah.
You and I have personal friends who deal with it with hurricane season. We have friends,
yes.
We have mutual friends who are like, there's a storm that just left the coast of Africa. And like, what? And and they will monitor that storm the entire way from the coast, off the coast of Africa into the Atlantic Ocean, and see if it's going to hit the US, and if it's going to hit the US, if it's going to hit Florida, if it's going to hit Florida, if it's going to hit South Florida, and if it's going to hit South Florida, like they're like watching it the entire way. And they're not watching it out of morbid curiosity. They're watching it out of like to see where their stress level is going to be.
Right.
And
right.
Just my heart goes out to people like that, to my friends that do that, because never once there's a hurricane coming. Okay, what do we need? Do we need water? What do we need? Like I don't stress over it, so
Can we?
it doesn't affect me.
What has been
You know?
calming me, and I finally found it while we've been talking. This is just a tribute to a thank you, whoever the pilots are that are. Not only are you fighting the fires and bringing me peace that way, but you're also posting these dope ass, satisfying ass videos of check. I like this is the shit I was talking about. This is like my lava lamp. This is like my soothing, like oddly satisfying shit. Look, these are just like some of the dopest. They got to be having fun. I'm telling you.
And when the band plays hail to the chief, ooh, I want the cannon at you now.
It's that song too, man.
Yeah,
it's that
man.
song too. Where
Look
you
at how low the plane is.
Yeah.
Will we get in trouble? Look at that. That guy. Look at that guy. Come on, this is like, bro. Whatever they're getting paid is not enough. They should never have to pay taxes again for the rest of their life. All of these people.
Yeah, it should be like the movie Armageddon. It's like we don't have to pay taxes ever.
And that's the plane from Tailspin. I love it. I love it so much. The all of it, fucking nailing it. Like it's so good, and it is very. It's bringing me a lot of peace.
By the way,
to see somebody really good at their jobs doing fighting these fires.
I love watching people. I love watching, even in fiction. I love watching people be good at their job. Like I legitimately, my favorite episodes of The Office are when the few times that Mike actually does a good job managing.
Yes,
it's like very satisfying. I really do enjoy that. But did you know about Tailspin? Did you know that Tailspin is spelled T-A-L-E and not T-A-I-L? Like it's a tale, like telling a story, and not like the tale of an animal.
I thought that was it. I never really made that connection.
I looked up Tailspin, like the tail with an I, and it was like a movie from like the 40s, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? Why can't I find this show? And I'm like looking for it, and then I had to like figure out that it was like tale, like a story.
Interesting. That Tailspin is the when the plane does the tailspin. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, that's why I was like, oh.
Yeah, you're right. I never really noticed that. Is this one of those mandala effects where you're like the Berenstain Bears?
I just figured because there was a plane. Planes have tails, and they do tail spins. I just figured like the tail of a plane is spelled with an I, the same way it is with the tail of an animal. I don't know, and I'm like, oh, okay, all right.
I love.
That show's great. Where the fuck is that show? Disney Plus.
I don't, man. I wonder what it is. I was just looking it up right now, and it says, "Why was Tailspin banned? Considered by Disney to be a banned episode, permanent removal." Well, I don't know.
A bad episode, I get, but a whole show. Like, give me a show. Why can't I watch Tailspin? Why can't I show my kids the greatness that is Kid Cadet?
Yeah, Cloud Kicker. Despite the considered by Disney to be a banned episode, the apparent reason for the episode's permanent removal from the airwaves is the terrorist theme associated with it. Interesting. I don't know, man.
Oh,
because they're
pirates. Because they're air pirates.
They're the sky pirates. Air pirates. Bad guys. Yeah.
Oh, so the whole show is banned because of that?
I don't know. That's a good question. I have the DVDs actually.
I mean, was one of the 9/11 pilots dressed as like what? I mean, what are we doing here?
Don Carnage.
Was he dressed as Don Carnage? Oh my god. Was he dressed as Don Carnage? And they're like, well, this is a situation of like the Noid, where the Noid was a thing, and then it stopped becoming a thing because somebody went crazy. Like if somebody went crazy and dressed up as Don Carnage and took over a plane, like I get that. Hey, Disney's got to be like, put the kibosh on that, bro. But
we can't let them know. They like please.
We can.
They're like pay the CIA, FBI, please scrub any Don Carnage references from the Terrorist Manifesto. Wouldn't it be great if he did like a video on TikTok dressed as Don Carnage going, I will fly.
That's the reason why TikTok is getting banned, because of the Don Carnage, like the whole domino effect of like Don Carnage.
There's somewhere in Congress, some high-level meeting where like we can't have these Don Carnage influences.
Also, I'm just now at 43 years old after saying Don Carnage 17 times, realizing that it's Don Carnage. I'm
No,
right.
you're
I'm
fucking
just.
kidding,
I
Nery.
swear, I
Oh
swear to
my
God,
God.
right now, I never asked myself why is his name Don Carnage. I never asked myself that.
You're the
He's
pun guy. You're the fucking
That's.
pun
I'm not.
guy.
First of all, I am not the pun guy. Absolutely not. I hate puns. You're the pun guy. You're the one that
I
has to
have
make all
video
the.
evidence of you
You're the
being
one that has to
pun
make
guy.
all the titles. You're the one that has to make all the titles punny. I don't do any of that. I don't subscribe to that, bro. You are incorrect on that one, my friend.
Popular porn website.
Yeah. How many I do?
Florida. CornHub has pulled out of the state of Florida. This new law.
Which one is me?
Too soon.
Too soon.
For
and it was a hard pull up.
It was hard. It was super hard.
Super hard.
And we are having a wonderful time here. But speaking of coming out of Miami Beach, there isn't. You can go in the back door.
Yes.
I don't know if you know about this. There is a thing called a VPN. Apparently, it stands for Voluminous Porn Now.
It's like the JG Wentworth of it's the JG Wentworth of porn. It's like I want my porn and I want it now.
How do I
get away?
reach around, if you will, this firewall that we have here?
You're getting creamed, by the way. This guy, he is.
It's kind of a. It's a.
He is destroying you in the puns. You're right.
I am not a pun guy. I'm not the biggest. My wife, huge fan of puns. She'll send me dad jokes and mom joke videos all day. I'm not that guy. I'm not that guy. I'm like, all right. I mean, it's not. She does it on purpose, where she'll send me one where the dad joke comes in at the end, and you don't realize that the whole thing has been a setup for a dad joke, and she'll send me those. And my reply is always the same thing of that black and white film where the guy goes, "Get out." Like that's my whole thing. Is like I'm just like get out. That's the whole thing. I'm not a punk guy. So Don Carnage flew right over my head.
Right over your head. Interesting.
FYI. FYI. Go ahead. You were saying?
No. We'll come
so
back to
I told this story to my wife today. This is a true. So I'm on a cruise line right now that I just started working for this cruise line or with this cruise line last year, and. Last year on this cruise line, in the buffet line, I saw a meal, and then they put labels on whatever it is that you're getting, right, on the buffet.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized this was 2024, so I was at earliest 42, maybe even 43 by this time, when I realized that succotash was not only a real thing, but was a food and not just something that Sylvester the cat says.
It's more than just a saying that is.
I did not know for 42 and a half years. I had zero clue that succotash was a real thing. I didn't know it was food. I didn't even know it was a real thing, much less a food. I just knew it from suckering succotash, and I just thought, oh, that's something that's a saying that Sylvester the cat says. And I didn't know.
Funny. That's pretty funny.
So just the same way I'm learning now that Don Carnage is carnage. Like I had no idea, man.
How was going on that show, by the way? How was Because Miami?
Oh, it was great.
What's up, bro?
Well, what's up with so I had Billy Corbin is a really cool guy. He's a really good friend, and he's a really good fan of comedy. Like he legitimately loves comedians, and not just the famous ones. He was there at the recording of my first comedy album at the Miami Museum of Science. He was there when there was no power. Remember that? There was no power. The air conditioning had gone out. Yeah.
Didn't I host? Didn't I open it?
You opened. Yeah. You opened, and he was there. He's always been there for local comedians, and he's been a big fan. So he's a really cool guy. A little bit. I love Billy, but he's a little bit like you are, and like he's very passionate about his opinions. And even if like me and you, we have the same opinion, you'll be like, "Hey man," you know what I mean? And like what we do now as a bit, he's like that, you know. And so there are times where he was like, the corruption in Miami, and I'm like, yeah, the corruption sucks. He's like, no, you don't. And I'm like, well, hey, okay. I'm just like, okay.
You don't even know.
Yeah, you don't even know. But he is super smart, and so it's a lot of fun. But what I'm saying is, I say all of that to say, because I don't have that same passion for politics that he does, when I go on the show, this is my third time now, every time I learn something. So a lot of times I'm just like, really? They did that?
You're like an audience.
Yeah, I'm like, and then I forget, oh, wait, I have to say something funny, because that's why I'm here. I'm like, oh, yeah. And then, like, you know, so, yeah, it's being on that show is great, because Miami's fantastic. He's always great.
Yeah, that's great. I wonder if he'll come back on the show ever. I'd love to have him back on if he's.
I'm sure he's like he really is one of those guys where I could just ask him and he'll just absolutely come on.
Yeah, I would be down to. Yeah, we gotta figure that out, man. I told not to glaze pump up Billy Corbett too, but he's great. Like I like all of the shit that he's done, man.
Every documentary, every document that he's made is legit. Like he has not made one. He has not made one. Even the one that he doesn't like. He doesn't like Square Grouper. And if you ever watched Square Grouper,
first one, right?
No, that wasn't his first one. If you watch Square, I really enjoyed Square Grouper, but again, I liked it for all the reasons that I like all his other ones. They were informative, teaching me things that I had no idea. I didn't know the term Square Grouper. I didn't know what that term meant.
Bales that got dunked and...
Yeah, they're all great, man. They're all Screwball was fantastic.
Screwball, the U is always like that
Cocaine Cowboys, dude. Just fucking
Cocaine Cowboys was its own thing. That was like a cultural like phenomena, but also like Screwball was good. I started watching the one about the 2000 election in Miami, the 527. I forget what the name of it is, but I started watching it and I couldn't finish it because I was so it would make me so angry. I'm like him, where I get angry. Like,
yeah. That's what I'm saying. I said he's just like you, man. You guys are very passionate. And even if me and you agree on something, the level of passion doesn't. So sometimes I'm just like,
clutching your pearl.
Like, yeah, I'm like, what you?
Yeah, but to be fair, I've been watching. I've watched all of them. Screwball was genius the way he did it with the little kids because it felt like little kid shit happening. Like it was so smart. So his approach is really, really good. And
he's a legitimate filmmaker, and I say that not condescending. I say that because it was to my surprise. Like when I recorded the what is now Origin Story, which is available on my YouTube for free. What I wanted to do, I had this idea of like incorporating crowd work that I already had filmed separately. And what I wanted to do, the idea that I wanted to use was animate those clips of crowd work and then insert them in an animation in the middle of said show. So like I will do the show that is now available, the video that's now available on Origin, but have a way of incorporating and find a way, use animation as a tool to incorporate a show that happens separate from this actual show. And I proposed it to him, and he said, well, you would have to set up in the beginning of it, before your stand-up, you would have to set up reasons to why animation is being used.
Right.
Like, why is that? So, like, it would have to lead into it would have to be, use it as a tool. So you would have to, and I was like, oh, that is an excellent point. Like, I was like, oh, I just thought, wouldn't it be cool if you saw animation in the middle of in the middle of a stand-up special? And he was like,
jarring.
Cool.
People be like, whoa. Yeah.
Well, but his whole thing is like, what's like, as far as a storyline goes, as far as a purpose goes, what would be the what would be the driving force? And I was like, which is a question that you get when you take a screenwriters class, and you go, oh,
clearly,
I've got nothing.
I have not.
I've got nothing.
I have not taken a screenwriters course.
Right.
I just
the sad part is I have. The sad part is I have, and I still didn't. That's the sad part is I'm taking courses, and I still didn't think of that one. The first question that came to his mind, and I was like, boy. But if you notice, I didn't go through with it because he proposed a very good question, and I was like, what? Again, excellent filmmaker.
If anyone would like to see, proof is in the content that I put a link to all of the to the special. is on all the channels. So it's on. It's
Okay,
over there in the chat. You can go click on that link and go watch Nery's special on YouTube. Which
just subscribe.
Again,
just subscribe. All I ask is a subscription.
Just subscribe. And also, that's going to be where, like, so now that TikTok's leaving, there's a lot of people on TikTok. A lot of people on TikTok that are that are upset enough to abandon all of the other ones. Where do you think all of these people are going to go?
Good.
No, but they're still going to go. So
they could go to hell for all I care. Yeah, that's what I'm passionate about. Less competition on the content creation side. Good. Leave. Like, absolutely.
Oh, man.
Don't threaten me with a good time, buddy. Don't get out.
What if they end up on YouTube and now you got to compete with
They're
YouTube?
already. You think people who are on. You think content creators that are successful on TikTok are not also on YouTube? That's crazy talk.
Yeah,
of course they are.
They're on YouTube.
Of course they are. That's not. They're not. Leave. Go.
Yeah.
Go somewhere else. Yeah. Fine. Go on Discord. Enjoy that.
You're not building a community, Nery. You're not being a community-minded content creator.
I am absolutely. I'm worried about the community that I've already built that nobody goes to. That's the community that I care about.
You're the
my community
for me. That
guy for sure. I'm like, give it to me. Yeah, no, I don't care, man. I don't care.
That's
more monkey pussy for me is a fact.
I hope that enough time has passed that people would not know that reference, right? Like that's not a.
I don't think people knew that reference even when that special was out. Like I'll be honest with you, I've tried to say that to other people, and I mean that's a very you have to. That's the thing. No matter how good or how popular the comedy special is, like if you just say that to somebody who's not a comedy aficionado, people are gonna be like, "What the?" Like you can't just yell out "ice cream" and people immediately know. Like no, it doesn't matter how iconic it is. You just I've said that to people. I've said like more monkey pussy for me, and people looked at me like I was crazy, and I was like, "No, it's a joke." With Dave Chappelle. All right,
come on. Anyway, we've done a great job today. We have. Do you have old school picks planned for today?
I don't have old school picks planned, but I could very easily think of one because this year being 2025, 25 years ago was the year 2000, which is now when we started this could not really count for it being an old school pick, but now it qualifies as an old school pick. We've been doing this podcast long enough that now movies that were not considered old school picks before are now considered old school picks.
First of all, that hurt my feelings.
The fact that we could have Gladiator as an old school pick is hilarious to me.
Wow, an old school pick. 25 years ago. Oh my God. Like time is when you say it out loud like that.
It's not on your side, by the way. It's not on your side.
It's not on your side.
That song is a liar. That song is a liar.
Is on my side. Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
From former old school pick, Fallen. Go check
Fallen.
that out.
Love that movie.
Love that movie.
I've been going through rabbit holes recently of like, so can we really quick go through our top 5 filmmakers?
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Or we could do a draft. We could do a draft of filmmakers.
Oh no! Yes. Okay. I you know me. I'm down for all of that shit. This is the filmmaker draft.
Filmmaker draft.
And you get. We're doing top 5, right?
Right. Yeah, 5. You could do the spin the wheel and see who goes first. Flip the coin.
Hold on a second. Now I got to organize it. What we'll do is the.
Go with 4. We could do 4, right?
Then we'll do like a Mount Rushmore. We keep it Geekmore themed. Shout out 4. To Mount Geekmore. Go watch old episodes. Mount Geekmore. Okay. So, what do we pick? Whose birthday is closer?
Yours. Mine. Birthday's closer. Yeah.
Okay.
When you get to my age. I'm older than you, motherfucker.
Interesting. This is on the fly, so I don't know if I have them in order, but this is the
your
draft.
Your number one pick. Your number one pick.
Man, my number one pick My qualify. So let me just say, qualifications have to vary between. Do I think they're the best, or are they my favorite?
Well, it's your favorite. It's your play. I mean, it's your draft, right? I mean, I'm assuming because if you go by best, then wouldn't you have to go by like some other kind of qualifier, like who has the most Oscars or some shit like that?
Yeah. No. I'll say so for my number one, and just personal favorite because of all their movies I've watched and enjoyed multiple times. I'm gonna say Edgar Wright.
Ooh.
He might be
too high.
Maybe, but he's the first one I thought of. So now
you know why he's too high? You know why he's too high? Because I would never have picked him. So you could have picked him fourth, and you still would have had
your mountain. I got my mountain.
No. I'm saying in the sense of a draft. In the sense of a draft, like you know what I mean? Like I got to take this guy. You take the guy, the best one available, before somebody else takes them. And like in the sense of a draft, I'm not shitting on Edgar Wright, by the way. I'm not. I'm just saying like the moment you said it, I go, oh wow, I didn't even remember him. Like
I've watched the Cornetto trilogy multiple times. Hot Fuzz would have been one of my old school picks this week. A Baby Driver I thought was great, considering that a bunch of people in that movie now have allegations. Scott Pilgrim might be my favorite, might be like one of my top 5 movies of all time. I love that movie very much. The World's End was great. He's just done a bunch of really good stuff that I've watched a bunch of. He's on my mountin.
I'm gonna go. I'm going very predictable here. I'm going very predictable. My number one is Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah, that would have been my number 2.
Yeah, I'm going very predictable. There's no like I can't, bro. So when I first watched Hateful Eight in theaters, I was like, it was fine, legitimately. And then as time has passed by, same way I felt about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. By the way, I was like, it's fine. It was very different than every other Quentin Tarantino movie, so I was like, I didn't know how to feel about it. And then listening to another podcast recently, they talked about how bad they did not like Hateful Eight, how they thought it was bad. And so I said to myself, let me go rewatch this movie because I also didn't think it was great, but I don't remember thinking it was bad. But I was like, whatever. So let me go back here. And in the rewatching, I fell in love with Hateful Eight. In the rewatching, I loved it more the second. And by the way, there is a quote unquote TV show of Hateful Eight that is a 4-hour cut of Hateful Eight that was split up into 4 1-hour episodes on Netflix.
Oh wow!
It's the movie, but it's considered a TV show because it's episodic. But they just cut. It's actually like 3.5 hours, but it's 52 minutes here, 56 minutes there, whatever, blah blah, and it's just private. So Quentin Tarantino. And then I went on another. In the last 7 months, I've gone through 2 different Quentin Tarantino.
I was gonna say, he's definitely on there for me. He's definitely up there. I've seen a bunch. Maybe Inglourious Basterds is also in my top 5 movies of all time. I love that movie.
So much reading. Huh? Oh my god, so much reading.
And Django. He's done so many good. Kill Bill.
Django is my favorite Quentin Tarantino movie. That is my favorite. I know a lot of people go to Pulp Fiction or Inglourious, but I go with Django. It's just so good.
Mm-hmm. How about this? Are we doing Snakes? So you get your 2.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. I get my 2. My next pick would be Sir Ridley Scott.
Scott, because that's your guy.
That's my man's in them. I have so I learned that there's not a lot, but there are some of his movies that I haven't even watched yet. So I started watching them after watching Gladiator 2. I was like, let me just go. So I watched them. There's a movie called The Counselor, and it has every person, like every hot celebrity from like 2017 or whatever year it was. And it has every person, and the movie got like really shitted on by critics. And I was like, oh, okay. So now I'm watching the movie because I'm only watching it out of respect to Ridley Scott. And I watched the movie and I didn't like the movie, right? But in not liking it, I have so many questions about the movie because I couldn't get it out of my head. It's one of those things where I watched it and it's just replaying in my head. I'm like, but what about, I don't understand what happens here. Why did this happen? And why did that happen? And one of the things that was confusing to me as a viewer was watching that movie, and it doesn't give you a setup like, hey, it drops you into the middle of a story as if you're supposed to already know. It doesn't spoon feed
Right.
you.
Yeah, it's like
so,
you're gonna enjoy this.
Yeah, it's like it's kind of like they just throw you. It's the equivalent of like being thrown, like when the birds throw the kids off, like, hey man, sink or swim. You're gonna either get this or you're gonna hate it. And the fact that I couldn't understand that at first, and made me go rewatch it again, and then I watched the director's cut of it, which is only like 17 minutes longer. And then the third time in 3 days, I watched this movie 3 times, and then the third time I watched the director's commentary on it. And the director's commentary is also interjected with the making of the movie. So they'll show you like 25 minutes of a movie, then they'll cut and they'll show you how they filmed certain scenes of that movie, and how they just filmed some of those scenes. The director will talk about his choices, and man, I really like the fucking movie now. I really like this movie now.
Well, that's always like that thing of like, the more you know about something, you watch it with like a different texture. You watch it like with a little more. Yeah. I get it. I completely understand.
So aside from Gladiator, and obviously, but dude, the Alien movies that he's done are just fantastic.
Yeah. What was I'm trying to think of
Prometheus, Blade Runner.
Thank you. Yeah, that and The Martian. Like, I'm trying to think of all the movies of his that I enjoyed. That like, because you love Gladiator, and for me, there's so many really good. Like, he's just crushed a ton of movies that maybe fly under the radar that are better. But like, because I was gonna say, like, he technically directed that movie Legend.
He doesn't have anything better. He doesn't have anything better than Gladiator.
No, but they're all good, but they fly under the radar because of how good Gladiator is. Like, they don't get American Gangster.
American Gangster. Which, by the way, American Gangster, I rewatched 2 weeks ago before going on my, Ridley Scott rewatching type of shit. Like, I just Yeah,
I'm trying to think.
So
the last duel. That was funny.
The last duel was really good, dude. It was
the last duel was great. It was such a weird.
It was incredibly.
He did G.I. Jane, Thelma and Louise. Wow.
Yeah, Thelma and Louise. So Counselor was the first time that him and Brad Pitt worked with each other since Thelma and Louise, and he talked about it in the commentary. He talked about how him and Brad haven't worked together since Thelma and Louise.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's dope. All right, well, I mean, those are some super solid picks. I'm gonna have to take another super obvious pick in terms of like just the sheer volume of my life it's taken up, and that's Steven Spielberg.
Yeah.
Steven Spielberg, you can't, like for Indiana Jones alone, like the team up where he's directing like the like, just these are iconic things, right? Like maybe not the newer ones, but like Last Crusade, Jurassic Park, like all of these movies that, man, I'm just going through the list.
The Goonies? He directed the Goonies too, right?
No, Richard Don.
Oh, he produced Goonies.
I don't remember. Actually, I don't know if he did Goonies. But even then, like fucking Jaws and
I know
shit.
he was involved. I know he was involved in Goonies, either as a director or producer. And this is why, because there's a famous story now that Josh Brolin in Goonies talks about that he was, as a young actor, he was like a teenager in that movie. And he talks about he went up to Spielberg and told him that he thinks that his character, the way he's going through these caves, is kind of like as a rebirth, right?
Oh,
his character is being reborn or whatever. And that Spielberg goes, just say the lines on the paper.
Just put the shit, just say the thing.
Whatever the fuck, whatever gets you through it, just say the lines on the paper. Like he's just shut the fuck up. And that's one of my favorite things, because you know how some actors get so artsy fartsy up their own ass with shit. Yeah. And Spielberg, being Spielberg, goes, just say the fucking lines in the
just say the fucking line. There's so many movies. I'm just looking at the list of stuff that I've seen these a million times. I've seen Catch Me If You Can a bunch. I've seen Minority Report a bunch. Jurassic Park might be up there in my top 5 movies also. Like, just the first Jurassic Park is like a perfect movie. Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade is my favorite Indiana Jones. I love that one. I've seen it a million times. And again, I'm not leaving out Schindler's List because I don't care. I'm pointing out the things in my life.
Dude, I just rewatched. So I just rewatched Schindler's List in late November, early December for the first time since it came out. And when it came out, I saw it a million times because every teacher in high school, when I was in high school, would put every teacher. It could be the fucking math teacher. The math teacher like, we're gonna watch Schindler's List today. And I would watch 20 or 30 minutes at a time, right? Because you just watch it or whatever. But I haven't seen it since my high school, since 1999. Yeah. So then, in like watching the Spielberg documentary on HBO Max, which is phenomenal, by the way. That documentary is great.
What's it called?
I'm like, let me go back and watch these movies that I haven't seen in a long time. And I went back to watch Schindler's List, and it is, I know it's the most ridiculous thing to say, but it is such a fucking well-made movie.
It's pretty good. You guys see this?
This guy's got. You guys see that? I saw Munich. I hadn't seen Munich, and Munich was such a well-made movie. I'm like, Jesus Christ, this guy can make a movie. This guy knows how to do it. This guy knows how to.
Yeah, this guy's pretty good. This guy's pretty good.
Keep your eye on this guy. There's a future. He's got a future.
Yeah, I'm trying to think, like, because I'm torn with my next pick, because it's, again, these are icons, of my life, and then one that I'm torn, but I'm gonna go with my number 3, just for how many times I've seen these movies. Robert Zemeckis for Back to the Future. He made Back to the Future, Forrest Gump, Castaway. I'm looking at the list right now.
Forrest Gump is a perfect movie. You want to talk about perfect movie? Forrest Gump is a
perfect movie. But then he also made Death Becomes Her, which I just watched with my wife. Not recently, but we watched it together, and I was like, "Fuck, this is great." He he directed Contact, which is the Carl Sagan book about science with Jodie Foster.
I've never seen that one with Matthew McConaughey.
And I had forgotten. He also did What Lies Beneath. Do you remember What Lies Beneath?
With
Harrison Ford and Michelle Pfeiffer?
He actually did What Lies Beneath in between Castaway. He took 8 months from filming Castaway because of before and after, and he was letting Tom Hanks lose the weight and blah 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 whatever. And in between that time, he did What Lies Beneath, which was a really good movie, underrated movie.
Really, really, really good. Yes, very good. Yeah, very good movie. At Contact, all this. I've seen these Back to the Future, Romancing the Stone. Come on, this guy. He's got recently, but man, he's
the Back to the Future movies. Maybe in my top 3 movies that I've seen the most times.
Probably.
I think number 1 is, for me, I think number 1 is probably Braveheart, that I've seen that movie so often. And 2 would probably be Gladiator. But I have seen Back to the Futures, all 3 of them, so often. Yeah. So many times.
That's my 2 and 3. So Spielberg, of course, Robert Zemeckis. Though that's like a killer combo for the 80s for me.
Yeah.
80s, 90s. Who's your 3? And then
my 3 would be will have to be the guy that every young person loves to hate. Is
I'm writing the name as you're speaking because I think I already
Martin Scorsese.
Yeah,
Martin Scorsese is, so I love Martin Scorsese movies. It's very easy to classify him as a mafia or a mafia director for that. He has, but he's done other one. He did Age of Innocence. He directed Age of Innocence, which he did a great job directing. He did
Cape Fear. I'm looking through the list now of Cape Fear was good. Yeah, there's a lot of these.
A lot of them are really good, man. But he does do a lot of.
Which one do you think he's seen of the Scorsese movies? Which ones do you think you've seen? Not
even close. Not even close. It's been Goodfellas. I mean, the amount of times I've seen Goodfellas, it's not even fucking close. I own Goodfellas on double cassette VHS. I own Goodfellas on DVD, on Blu-ray, and digital. I've owned Goodfellas on every format that you could possibly, with the exception of Laserdisc, because I wasn't a millionaire and I didn't have Laserdisc when I was, 14 years old. But it's been phenomenal. I have just Goodfellas, and then after Goodfellas would probably be Casino. And then the Departed, and the Departed. I've seen a lot.
I was gonna say.
So.
I forgot about the Aviator, man. Aviator, what a good movie.
Aviator, like he does. I don't think these guys, even if you don't like the movie, like for example, my Ridley Scott. I'm not the biggest fan of Blade Runner, but I could still tell you that it's a well-made movie. I'm not a big fan of the movie, but I can still acknowledge it's a well-made movie. It just wasn't for me. That's all it was. So same thing goes for Scorsese. Whether or not you like the movies or not, you can't deny his utter talent of storytelling. He has a talent for it, man. It's just bonkers.
I mean, again, you can't go wrong. This is like iconic, but that's why, like, I'm trying to tailor, like, for me, this list is four, because your list could literally be like a top 10 list.
Everybody's list. Everybody's list.
Yeah.
So here's my dark horse. My number 4.
Popping up. Yeah, what's your number 4?
My number 4. Here's my dark horse, and you're gonna be like, one of these things is not like the other, and that's why it's a dark horse. My number 4 is Jon Favreau.
Fuck, bro! You son of a bitch! You son of a bitch! I was gonna put him on my fucking list.
Is that you gonna put on your list?
I literally, yes, dude. Of course.
So funny.
Literally, I was the whole time we've been talking since I said Edgar Wright. I was gonna say, man, Swingers is iconic. Like Jon Favreau, just for Swingers alone. Damn it, you son of a bitch! I guess that's what
to me, Iron Man and Iron Man 2 are top tier, man. There's just
top tier.
There is no better way of introducing. There's no better way of introducing a character that not many people even knew about. Iron Man in the suit doesn't make an appearance until an hour into the fucking movie.
Yeah,
and he's really good.
Yeah, like it's genuinely the reason I was going to put him on my list is because of he embodies a lot of that, like, people who make a movie because they are making something that they're trying to they're doing it up against the odds, right? When he made Swingers, it was like not, it was pure independent film back in the day when there was like no money to it. There was no like there wasn't going to be any glory or anything like that. You were just making a movie to make a movie. So when you see something like the original Iron Man was made with not a lot of money, with not a lot of faith. So like for him to build stuff like that, and of course we're talking about TV and things like that, then he did Mandalorian and build that out. He's just kind of this guy that can see the bigger picture. So I was totally going to put that motherfucker on my list. Now I don't know who to pick. But yeah, great pick.
Yeah, I try to round out the mountain, if you will.
Let me see. Hold on. What I'm trying to think of, like Chef. Damn.
Chef is one of my so good. I love that movie so much, dude. I love that movie so much. My favorite scene in Chef is when he's talking to his son, and it's because it hits so close to home for me as an artist. When the son, they're making sandwiches. The truck just got off and they're making sandwiches, and they're giving these sandwiches away for free, right? Because they're just trying to get a hang of whatever. And he burns the sandwich, right? He burns the sandwich, and then he goes, "Oh, well, we can't give that one away. We can't give that one out because it's burnt." And so the kid says, "Who cares? It's free anyways. Why do they care?" Right. And he pulls the son aside, and the scene is so good because John Leguizamo, who gets overlooked a lot of times as an actor, right? Because he's such a good comedian that they overlook him as a dramatic actor. That Leguizamo looks at Favreau, and he says, "Hey man, take care of that shit. Like you get that. This is not all right." So Favreau pulls his son aside and says, "Hey, have you been enjoying what you're doing? Have you been like enjoying?" He's like, "Yeah, I've been having fun." And he's like, "Yeah, because I really love what I do. Like this is it for me. I really love what I do. I put pride in everything that I do." So that sandwich, look at that sandwich. When you burn that sandwich, are you proud of that? Why would you put something that you're not proud about? And that speech right there, it hits so close to home. I'm getting emotional now just thinking about that speech. Because as an artist, people don't understand that. Like people, if you're not an artist, you don't understand. People who are not artists don't understand, and they go, "Oh yeah, you're just." I've had people at my shows. I had a lady at my show one time on a ship, on her phone with a conversation, And I was like, "Are you really taking a phone call right now?" And it was a PG show, so I couldn't even go off on her. And it was a PG show,
Right.
and and her response to me was, "Why do you care? You're getting paid regardless."
Ooh,
And she didn't understand. She didn't understand. I'm like, I don't do this because it's money. I do this because I fucking love what I do. And the fact that you're not respecting that by talking flat out, having a conversation in the middle of a show. And I even told her it's not going well, but I don't need your help to not go well. It's already not going well. Like I'm understanding.
I don't need you helping. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't need you helping this. This isn't like this. And again, it's not a pay thing. It's a art thing. It's like, this is what I fucking do. This is my craft. And that speech in Chef, oh God, he made that list just from Chef. Just on Chef, he made that list.
Yeah, that's a great choice, man. I'm struggling now to come up with a number 4 because I was sure you weren't going to pick that guy, Jon Favreau. I'm torn, right?
You're not going to pick a woman? You're going to pick a woman, bro? Your list doesn't have any women on it? What a dick.
No, it's true. Well, I was looking up what
James Cameron. You know you're going to go with James Cameron.
I was looking at somebody else. I was trying not to pick James Cameron because as much as I love James Cameron, I don't think
he's also a dick. He's also a dick.
He's also he's a fucking monster. But he's also like, I struggle because it's like I love his movies are the ones that I know. Again, it has to be personal. It's my movies. Sure. What have I watched? What do I enjoy?
Terminator 2.
Yeah, Terminator 2. And I'm trying to now I'm going through the list of the movies in my
Aliens.
library.
Aliens.
I mean, yes, of course, but now here's the thing. The director of the movies I love the most didn't direct the movies that I love the most of that series.
Sure.
Right? You know what I'm saying?
I get that. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, so it's like, how do I land here? You know, because there's tons of movies like, oh, this movie is great, so I'm gonna pick this director for one movie. Nah, I don't know. Because so here's my, it's gonna be James Cameron. I can't think of anything, but I was thinking of Denis Villeneuve because I wanted to pick a new guy, right? So Denis Villeneuve, the guy who did Dune, and the guy who did he did Arrival, Blade Runner 2049, Sicario. He's done a bunch of really good movies.
Sicario is a phenomenally that is such a good movie. Holy crap, that's such a good movie.
But
that is such a good movie. But I didn't watch Dune 2 because it's not Dune.
It's great, but the idea of you don't like Timothée Chalamet and his angular face or whatever you hated about it last time. But then there's also David O. Russell who did. There's this movie called Three Kings with George Clooney about the golf.
Yes,
what a good movie that is! I've seen it a million times. He also did The Fighter, Silver Linings Playbook, and American Hustle, and he did another one.
By the way, you know him and George Clooney got into a fist fight.
Really? In that movie?
Yeah. During that movie, filming that movie, they clashed hard, and that was when George Clooney was at his George Clooney-ness.
Yeah, when he was peak single hot George Clooney.
Yeah.
But then I'm trying to think of so can I pick? I guess I have to. I'm gonna have to.
Why don't you just read the list? What's left? Google top 10 directors. Top 10 filmmakers.
I have to put George Lucas on there, man, just because of how important Star Wars has been in my life. Yeah, you can me all you want with your.
But he's not. He's not a good director. He's a good creator of stories, but he's not a good. There's some things that he's,
Man.
To me, acting is a pivotal part of directing because the director's main job is to get the best performance out of your actors. And the acting that he got out of Natalie Portman, who then later on went on to win an Academy Award for acting, is really difficult. I really put I'm really harsh on George Lucas.
Okay.
I'm really harsh. For that reason. That's my list. That's not your list.
It's my list. So here's the movies.
I got Jon Favreau, bro. You do whatever you want to do.
I know. He did, he directed the first Star Wars and then wrote the rest. He directed all of the prequels. And then it's like, am I gonna put him on there just for Star Wars when he didn't direct? That's a good question. It's a good question. I don't know. I'm torn. because it is so. Those movies have always been like super important to me. You know, like my whole world has been like, because like Star Wars. I've always been a Star Wars like fan. So I'm struggling.
Yeah, I get it.
To think of,
You like
what the options.
Yeah, you like Spock and all them. I get it.
The idea, film directors, like, so here's the list, right? I'm not gonna.
You know who's really good? You know who's legitimately really good? I just saw this movie for the first time 2 weeks ago, and I was fucking thrown aback about how great this movie was, and I was so upset with myself for not watching it in theaters. But I am happy that I waited till I was home to at least watch it on a big screen TV and not on an iPad or an iPhone.
Sure.
The movie 1912 or 1917, whatever it is. Whatever.
Oh, yeah. The one that's all one long take. Yeah.
All one long take. Sam Mendes. It's so good. That movie was excellent. It was absurd. You clearly haven't seen it because you're not agreeing with me. But that movie was so. I know you haven't. I know. But I'm trust me. Like the moment you didn't go like, oh yes, like trust me, that movie is fucking perfection, dude. It was stellar on every fucking level. I was just
1917. Yeah. Okay.
Brilliant.
So here's my my dilemma, because now there's all of these great directors, right? Like, you know, Martin Scorsese, Stanley Kubrick. Man, as great as he is, he's not that important to me. Somebody like David Fincher, like he did amazing movies. They don't hold any importance in my life. Spike Lee, like there's so many great Spike Lee movies that I can't say that it's you know, like there's so much that I can't. There's so many great like movies that even somebody new like Darren Aronofsky, George Lucas. As much as I love Star Wars, you're right. He's not the best director. He's good at. He's not even the best writer. He's like a good producer. Maybe
you want to trade.
No, you pick your picks.
I'll trade you. I'll trade you.
No, I'll tell you what my last pick is. I'll tell you what my last pick is. And I'll tell you it's between Chris Nolan and Tim Burton.
Okay.
And I think because of reasons, I may have to go with Tim Burton. Because that guy, Batman, but not only that, there is no doubt in my mind that when you're watching a Tim Burton movie, that his signature is on it, right?
Yeah, like, the moment you see Helen Bonham Carter, you go, yeah.
Helen Bonham Carter. The moment you see Helen Bonham Carter, the moment you see Johnny Depp. So let me just put it to
There's no doubt in your mind that you know you're watching a Tim Burton movie.
No doubt. He did. So for me, there's of course Batman. There's of course the Batman and Batman Returns. There's Nightmare Before Christmas. There's Edward Scissorhands, Beetlejuice, and Beetlejuice. I really love the Sweeney Todd movie that he did. I really like that one, and he's done Mars Attacks. Man, like he's done a lot of really like.
You know, I've never watched Mars Attacks.
I've never watched. It's weird, man. It is absolutely weird. But even then, like the Alice in Wonderland movies, like they're so if anybody is like,
Alice in Wonderland movies are phenomenal, dude. They're so good.
I gotta say, man, that's that.
I think the only movie I did not like of his, to be honest with you, that I just flat out don't like, was Dumbo. Man, that movie was.
I didn't watch that movie.
It was.
But that's the thing, is that so much of these are based on my own personal things. I've seen the original Batman and Batman Returns a million times. I've seen that Beetlejuice a million times. I've seen Nightmare Before Christmas a million times. And there's nobody out there that you could say he's copying from. You know what I mean? Like,
no. He's
not like everybody is Spielberg motivated, you know, like or inspired, influenced by. You know,
there's a lot of. I mean, that's the take of a great director, right? A lot of people are stealing. You know what I mean? I think.
Yeah, but people still, like, yeah, it's hard to say. Like David Fincher, when he did Fight Club and he did Seven, like those are good, those are amazing movies. But then there's a ton of other movies on here that I'm just like, meh.
I was gonna go with the director of Transformers,
Michael Bay. Michael Bay. Although I did watch The Rock just the other day.
Dude, I watched The Rock a million times. Armageddon is fucking great.
You're right.
Armageddon holds up. The Rock holds up. I don't give a fuck, dude. You can say whatever you want.
That first Transformers was fucking
I watched
fire.
13 hours. I watched 13 hours last night. Have you seen 13 hours?
Which one's that one?
That's the one about the soldiers in Benghazi. It's so good. If Michael Bay was not, yes, you would not know that's a Michael Bay movie if they didn't tell you it's a Michael Bay movie.
Great pull. Yeah. These are all fantastic choices.
That's the only reason I watched. That's the only reason I pulled it. I just watched it last night. So good.
Yeah. So here we go. So Nery, you on your mountain, you have number one, or your draft, we'll say Quentin Tarantino, Ridley Scott, Martin Scorsese, and Jon Favreau. One of these things is not like the other, but again, those first three could be, on anybody's list. But you just happen to really do. Quentin Tarantino's on my list for sure. He would have been my number two. He would have been my number two. Jon Favreau would have been my number four.
That's why I told you could have waited for Edgar Wright. You could have got him because you would have got him. I would have never picked him.
Yeah.
Never in a million years you would have picked it. I would have there was never going to be a time where I thought. I know. Yeah.
My mountain has Edgar Wright, Steven Spielberg, Robert Zemeckis, and Tim Burton, because those are that might be the most personalized Michael Mercadal list of directors. Any one of this guy's movies, even the one like One Night in Soho, that's like his weird horror one, is really good. Edgar Wright.
There was the pick that I was gonna go with. If I was giving another pick, I don't know. It probably might be Michael Bay, but probably not. But I feel really bad because I'm having trouble remembering his name, and I remember it's like I'm having trouble remembering his name. But his movies are so iconic to me. Is the director of Rocky and The Karate Kid, and just those two movies alone. That's Arkin. I'm forgetting. I'm having a brain fart right now. So this is not indicative of his talent, and not indicative of what he means to me as a filmmaker. I'm having a brain fart.
You're talking about the first Karate Kid, or the director?
The first Karate Kid is the first director of Rocky.
John
Avildsen. Yeah. So he directed Rocky, he directed the first Rocky, and he directed the first Karate Kid. I'm pretty sure he directed Karate Kid too, if I'm not mistaken as well. I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So
that's true. Again, how do you weigh it?
Yeah. So those two movies again, Rocky, the first Rocky is not my favorite Rocky, but without that Rocky, you don't have the other Rockies. So that you don't. So that's why. Yeah. But
great list. So again, Quentin Tarantino, Ridley Scott, Martin Scorsese, Jon Favreau. Again, we could do a movie night of a day of marathon or whatever of that guy, any one of their movies, and it would be pretty decent. Edgar Wright, Steven Spielberg, Robert Zemeckis, Tim Burton. That's my mountain or my list.
That's great.
Great job. I mean, you can't go wrong. But super solid. We nailed it again, everybody. Thank you, everyone, for this perfect show. Flawless show. Absolutely everything about today was perfect. Thank you.
This was the Forrest Gump of podcast episodes.
Yeah, it was. It was absolutely 5 stars. Thank you, everybody, for watching. You can follow us at WuBro Pod on all social media platforms. You can follow us at Mike Mercadal, at Nery Saenz on all social media platforms. Check us out on TikTok for 10 more minutes, and follow us to stay informed. Please do like, share, and subscribe. Just click the button, and that's all you got to do. And
if you are in the South Florida area, I just want to give a quick plug. If you're in the South Florida area, I have a show coming up on February 23rd in Dania at the Dania Improv. It's going to be me and Carlos Hernandez, super funny, super hilarious local comedian. Actually, he's not even local anymore. Now he lives in New York. He's left in New York. Carlos Hernandez and I are doing an unscripted show. The show is going to be, he's going to do his stand-up act. I'm going to do my stand-up act, and then both of us are going to get on stage with microphones, and we're going to do an impromptu Q&A with the audience, and we're gonna do like a whole thing where we're gonna do improv bits. It's gonna be a lot of fun. So
fun as hell. And also check you out on the latest Because Miami with Billy Corbin. You're on there as well. And if you go into the comments, into the chat, I've posted the links for the comedy special.
Origin Story.
The YouTube link on for Origin Story is in the chat. Yeah. Thank you everybody for watching. Please
be safe. Be safe.
I will try. I will do my best. Follow us on social media and shout out to the pilots flying those water dumping aircraft, because man, that's fucking cool. It's super cool. Keep doing what you're doing. It's literally saving lives, but also it's fun to watch you do that. I'm sure they're having a great time also.
Love you guys. Thank you so much. And that's how winning is done.